Do you want to use social media videos for business, but you don't know which are the best social media platforms for videos? In the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to grow a handmade business using social media and video. My name is ELISE Nelson, and I help tech challenge makers build a profitable e-commerce brand. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel, where I offer lessons that are 15 minutes or less to help you grow your e-commerce shop. In this short video, I'm going to share with you the best social media for videos for your e-commerce business. Before we jump into this maker lesson, I'd love to know which social media platforms you use to post videos. Leave a comment and let me know. All right, so let's jump right into the best social media platforms for videos. Now, pretty much all platforms give preference to video. Therefore, any platform you use will get better reach when you use a social media video marketing strategy. What really matters is where your audience is. Now, there is no point marketing somewhere that your people aren't present, because it's just a waste of time. So how do you find your audience? Option one, if you have sales and you know who your audience is, ask them what platforms they are using. This is the absolute best way to find out where your people are. And if you ask enough people who have purchased from you, you're going to find the answer and you'll know it's correct. So ask them, send them an email and say, hey, would you mind answering a few questions? Call them up if you've got their number and ask them if they would mind answering a few questions. If you do a vendor event, ask them if they would mind answering a few questions. The second way that you can figure out where your people are is you can look at the stats. And so I actually have a spreadsheet that I've created for you guys that has the social media platforms, demographics, image ratios, and video lengths all listed in one spreadsheet, so that you know what to do for your business for your social media videos. What I've done here on this graph is I have input the information that I got from ManyChat and made it so that it highlights anything above 25%. And this is telling you what percentage of the US population is on that platform. So for example, ages 18 to 24, 76% of them are on Facebook. So 3 out of 4 people that are between the ages of 18 and 24 are on Facebook. So if that is your demographic, Facebook is clearly somewhere that you want to be. 84% of people between the ages of 25 to 29 in the US are on Facebook. So clearly this is where you want to be. So if your demographic is the 25 to 29-year-old demographic, you pretty much can be on any platform. They are all selected, they are all highlighted, they are all 25% or more. But you could do something like, well, YouTube is 93%, Facebook is 84%. Those are the two I'm going to focus on, right? So this is going to help you figure it out. Now, let's say that your demographic is 65 and up. So you would then be more likely to be on Facebook and YouTube and stay away from places like Twitter, because it's only a 7% of the 65 and up population in the US are on Twitter. So this can give you a starting point of where to go. But keep in mind that a specific platform may not represent a large portion of the US population of an age group, but could still have your audience. Maybe that 7% includes your people, in which case maybe you want to consider still being there. The other thing to keep in mind is that these numbers change over time. So for example, a new platform may start out with one demographic and then they may shift over time. This happens a lot because when a new platform comes out, specifically a younger audience will be really interested in it, and it'll take a while for the older audience to become interested. Also, as the audience ages, the age group of the platform may also shift. So you have to keep in mind that these numbers will change. So just because your audience isn't there right now doesn't necessarily mean they won't ever be there. Now, if you want more help with your e-commerce brand, be sure to subscribe and sign up for notifications right here on my YouTube channel, where I offer lessons that are 15 minutes or less to help you grow your e-commerce shop. Now that you know what platform is best for your ideal customer based solely upon age, you need to know what videos work best on that platform so that you can determine what format to use for your videos. So let's jump right into the image ratios. And this is going to tell you whether the platform is using a 1:1 ratio, which is a square, a 9:16 ratio, which is a vertical rectangle, or a 16:9 ratio, which is a horizontal rectangle. And they are checked off to show you which is which. So Facebook feed can be any of them. So you have all the versatility in the world. Instagram feed should only be a square. And the reason I say that is because yes, the Instagram feed will accept the other two formats, but when it shows up in the feed, it's going to look like a square, so everything is going to be cut off if you do it the other way. You can technically upload, for the most part, a square to any platform, or some of these other sizes to somewhere that wants a square. But what's going to look best on the platform is what we are going with here today. The 9x16 vertical, especially for video, is going to be most of your platforms. The only thing that is excluded is the Instagram feed, YouTube, and Twitter. So 9x16 vertical is very popular. And then the 16x9 horizontal is mostly going to be YouTube and Twitter, but the Facebook Live can also be horizontal if you're on your desktop, or even on mobile if you turn your phone. And then Facebook feed can also be horizontal. Why does this matter? Okay, so first of all, obviously you need to know so that you can use the one that works the best for you. But the big reason this matters is because it means you can't share one format across all the platforms. So you have to make a choice about what you want to do. So you can decide, I'm only going to share to platforms with the same ratio. So maybe you decide all of my videos are going to be vertical. So I'm just not going to share to the Instagram feed. I'm not going to share to YouTube. I'm not going to share to Twitter. And maybe that works for you and all of your videos are going to be vertical. Maybe you're going to make different content for each platform. So you have videos that you make specifically for Instagram, specifically for vertical feeds, and specifically for horizontal. Or maybe you decide that you're going to record any video that you make multiple times in different formats. So when you sit down to make that 9x16 vertical video, once you hit stop, you then turn your camera and you make a 1x1 square. And then you turn your camera to make a horizontal or any combination thereof. And then the final thing that you can do if you want to try and be on multiple platforms with different formats is to consider how the video will be cropped in each format and keep all necessary info in that part of the video so that it'll be visible when you crop it. Now, it can be really hard to do this for a 9x16 vertical, horizontal, and square because these two are going to block each other out. But you can do this for a vertical and a square or a horizontal and a square pretty easily. When you are holding your camera up, you basically just want to think your phone, this is going to be my square, or you might think it's the bottom is your square. You just imagine where the square is, and then you record it in the vertical or horizontal rectangle, and then you crop it to make your square image, and that will work for you. And there actually is one more thing you can do. You can actually use borders or frames to make content fit other platforms. Again, for this, let's say you're going to record in a square. If you record in a square format, you could add a section to the top and bottom for vertical, and you could add a section to both sides for horizontal, and that would work. But if you record in a vertical format, it's really hard to go to horizontal. Or if you record in a horizontal format, it's really hard to go to vertical. It's going to make everything look really, really tiny. So I don't recommend doing that. You can record in square and add borders or frames, but typically what I would recommend is, depending upon what you're looking for. So if you want to do YouTube and Twitter, this is different, but start with your vertical or horizontal, and then just imagine for yourself that there's a square that everything has to stay in, and then you can crop to get a square format as well. Now, before we jump into the rest of the lesson, please like this video. Also, be sure to stick with me today to the end of the video to learn your challenge. After all, what's the point in watching this video if you don't implement what you learn? All right, so we've just been talking all about how you should choose which platforms to be on based upon your ideal audience. But now I've got to throw you a little bit of a twist. In my opinion, you should post on as many platforms as possible, even if your audience doesn't make up a large portion of its users. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. Number one, it keeps other people from claiming your brand on the platform. And you never know when the stats may change and you'll want your name on that platform. Number two, if you're using a scheduler like Metricool, it won't add much time to your social media scheduling, but may bring you more clients. In other words, it's a no-lose situation, so why not post to multiple platforms? Number three, sometimes your ideal audience hears about your product from others. So for example, Susie Q sees a product her grandmother would love. She buys it for her grandmother. Or she tells her grandmother about it and her grandmother buys it. But the person who saw it was actually Susie Q. So sometimes you may actually find out that it's better, that you have an opportunity to sell your product to someone that isn't really your ideal client. And then finally, your client is more than just their age and their gender. There are always exceptions to the rules. And you'll notice on our spreadsheet, none of these say 0%. And so even though, Twitter only has a 7% for 65 and up, that doesn't mean that they can't be there. As a matter of fact, 7% of the population is there. So just keep in mind that just because they may not be your ideal platform, if it doesn't take very much additional effort to post there as well, you may be better off just going ahead and doing it. All right, now today's question was, which social media platforms do you use to post video? Leave a comment and let me know. And if you want more e-commerce tips about how to create a good video for social media, be sure to check out my next video all about 15-second video social media for your e-commerce business. Also, be sure to watch my last YouTube video series about the best free video tools for social media. If you're ready to take your social media to the next level, you should join us for the Social Media Growth Challenge, which is all about short form vertical video like TikTok, Reels, and Stories, and how to use it for your e-commerce shop to get more eyes on your social media posts. It only happens 3 times a year, so don't miss it. All the links are in the description. And the challenge for today is to look at the stats that we have on this spreadsheet and determine which platforms are best for your ideal client, and based on that, determine which aspect ratios you should be recording your videos. If you would like to download this spreadsheet so you can take a look at everything yourself, there's a link in the description. Go ahead and click that and you can get the spreadsheet. Don't forget to live your dream every single day, and I will see you guys in the next video.